Welcome to Riddled Get Thinking, where the past is riddled with mystery. Today we look at ancient Egypt and keep watching to the end for a new theory that could shake the very foundations of Judeo-Christian civilization. Egyptian civilization flourished along the banks of the Nile, a river that brought life to the desert, a land of majestic pyramids and powerful pharaohs, where the grandeur of the architecture reflected the might of its rulers. A land steeped in tradition, where gods and goddesses were worshipped for millennia, and where the divine and the mortal worlds intertwined seamlessly. But one pharaoh dared to challenge the ancient order, to question the very foundations of this timeless civilization. His name was Akhenaten, and his reign was a time of unprecedented upheaval and radical change. He was a visionary, a revolutionary, and a heretic in the eyes of many. Join us as we delve into the story of the pharaoh who dared to reshape Egypt's spiritual landscape and whose legacy continues to fascinate us centuries later. Akhenaten's vision was both grand and controversial. Akhenaten's story is one of ambition, faith, and ultimately tragedy. His dreams were vast, but so were the challenges he faced. His attempt to replace the traditional pantheon of Egyptian gods with the worship of a single god, Aten, was a revolution that shook Egypt to its core. This monotheistic shift was unlike anything the ancient world had seen. It was a revolution that would have profound implications for his reign, for his kingdom, and for his place in history. The changes he implemented were met with resistance and controversy. Akhenaten's story is a reminder that even in the most rigid of societies, there are always those who dare to challenge the status quo. His courage to defy tradition is both inspiring and cautionary. It is a story that continues to resonate with us today, reminding us of the power of belief and the enduring allure of the mysteries of ancient Egypt. Akhenaten's legacy is a testament to the enduring human spirit and the quest for understanding the divine. Born Amenhotep IV, Akhenaten's early life remains shrouded in mystery. We know he was born into the 18th dynasty, a period of great prosperity and power for Egypt. His father, Amenhotep III, was known as the Great Builder and was also a proficient diplomat who enjoyed a long and peaceful reign. Young Amenhotep likely grew up surrounded by the splendor of the royal court, privy to the inner workings of power. He would have received an education befitting a future pharaoh, learning about Egyptian history, religion, and statecraft. But did this privileged upbringing hint at the religious revolution brewing within the young prince? Was there something in his character, some early experience, that planted the seeds of his radical beliefs? These questions continue to tantalize historians today. In the early years of his reign, Amenhotep IV, as he was then known, didn't hint at the monumental twist that was to come as he still adhered to the traditional Egyptian pantheon. He participated in the rituals and offerings dedicated to Amun, the king of the gods. However, a shift was already underway. Gradually, Amenhotep IV began to elevate the status of a lesser-known god, Aten. Aten, symbolized by the sun disk, represented the life-giving force of the universe. Amenhotep IV saw in Aten a universal deity, a god for all humanity. This marked a radical departure from the polytheistic beliefs of traditional Egyptian religion. Amenhotep IV's fascination with Aten grew, eventually leading him to declare Aten as the one true god, the sole creator and sustainer of all life. This dramatic shift signaled the beginning of a religious revolution that would forever alter the course of Egyptian history. To solidify his religious reforms, Amenhotep IV took a drastic step that would forever change the course of Egyptian history. He changed his name to Akhenaten, meaning effective for Aten, and decreed the construction of a new capital city dedicated to the worship of the sun god Aten. This was not just a name change, but a bold declaration of his devotion. This new city, named Akhenaten, Horizon of Aten, would become known to us as Amarna. It was envisioned as a utopia, a place where the divine and the mortal could coexist in harmony. Located on a virgin site in Middle Egypt, Amarna was designed to be a shining testament to Aten. The location was carefully chosen to reflect the purity and sanctity of the new religious order. Wide avenues, open temples, and spacious palaces replaced the cramped and labyrinthine architecture of traditional Egyptian cities. This new urban design was meant to symbolize openness and transparency in worship. Life in Amarna revolved around the worship of Aten. The city was meticulously planned to ensure that every resident could participate in the daily rituals. Each day began with hymns and offerings to the sun god, and the Pharaoh himself played an active role in these rituals. Akhenaten's presence was a constant reminder of the divine connection between the ruler and Aten. Akhenaten's vision was clear: to create a society bathed in the light of Aten, where every aspect of life reflected the glory of the one true God. This vision extended beyond religion, influencing art, culture, and even the daily lives of the people. But here's a fascinating twist: a link with someone who is more familiar to those with a knowledge of ancient Egypt. The first of two, in fact. Akhenaten wasn't alone in this revolution. His queen, Nefertiti, played a crucial role in promoting the worship of Aten. Known for her stunning beauty and influential status, Nefertiti was depicted alongside Akhenaten in many religious scenes, showing her equal importance in this new religious order. Together, they reshaped the religious and cultural landscape of their time. Stay tuned for a full video on Nefertiti's remarkable life and legacy. The religious revolution of Akhenaten's reign extended far beyond temples and rituals, reaching into the very heart of Egyptian society. It permeated every aspect of Egyptian culture, most notably its art, which underwent a dramatic transformation during this period. Under Akhenaten's patronage, a new artistic style emerged, one that broke with centuries of tradition and introduced a fresh perspective. Gone were the rigid, idealized figures of earlier Egyptian art, which had long been a hallmark of the civilization's artistic expression. Instead, artists embraced a more naturalistic style, depicting the human form with a newfound sense of realism and individuality. Akhenaten himself was often portrayed with an elongated face, slender limbs, and a prominent belly, a stark contrast to the idealized physiques of previous pharaohs, which emphasized strength and divinity. This new artistic style reflected the changing religious landscape of Egypt, mirroring Akhenaten's revolutionary ideas about spirituality and the divine. Just as Akhenaten sought to bring Egyptians closer to Aten, the sun disk god, so too did this new art aim to capture the essence of humanity in a more immediate and relatable way, breaking down the barriers between the divine and the mortal. It was a bold artistic experiment, one that would prove to be as short-lived as Akhenaten's reign itself, but its impact on the history of art and culture remains significant to this day. Akhenaten's radical reforms, while embraced by some, were met with resistance from others. The priesthood of Amun, once the most powerful religious institution in Egypt, saw their influence and wealth diminish under the new regime. Moreover, the rapid pace of change and the upheaval it brought about caused anxiety and uncertainty amongst the populace. The abandonment of traditional gods and the imposition of a new religious order created a sense of unease and resentment among some segments of Egyptian society. The pharaoh, however, remained unyielding. He continued to promote Aten with unwavering zeal, seemingly oblivious to the growing discontent brewing beneath the surface. His single-minded focus on his religious vision would ultimately contribute to the instability that plagued the latter years of his reign. One of the most intriguing aspects of Akhenaten's story is its potential connection to the biblical Exodus. Traditionally, the Exodus is dated around 1250 BCE, after Akhenaten's reign. However, some propose an earlier date, around 1446 BCE, overlapping with his time on the throne. Could Akhenaten's monotheistic revolution have influenced the Israelites? While there's no direct evidence, the chronological overlap opens up the possibility. If the Israelites were in Egypt during Akhenaten's reign, they could have been exposed to his radical religious changes. This exposure might have played a role in shaping their own monotheistic beliefs. This speculative connection between Akhenaten and the Exodus adds an intriguing layer to both historical and biblical narratives. The idea that a pharaoh's radical attempt to shift the religious paradigm could have influenced one of the most significant religious transformations in history is both fascinating and controversial. After a 17-year reign, Akhenaten died under circumstances that remain unclear. His death created a power vacuum, and the question of succession became a point of contention. Ultimately, a young pharaoh named Tutankhaten, likely Akhenaten's son, ascended to the throne. However, Tutankhaten's reign would mark a return to the old ways. Under the guidance of powerful advisors, he changed his name to Tutankhamun, reinstating the god Amun to his former glory. The temples of Amun were reopened, and the priests regained their lost influence. The city of Amarna, once the shining symbol of Akhenaten's revolution, was abandoned. Temples were dismantled, and the city fell into disrepair. Its legacy left to be buried by the sands of time. The era of Aten was over, and Egypt was seemingly poised to return to its traditional religious practices. The dismantling of Akhenaten's religious program went beyond the reinstatement of Amun. A systematic effort was undertaken to erase Akhenaten's name and image from Egyptian history. His monuments were defaced, his statues smashed, and his name was stricken from official records. This damnatio memoriae, as it is known, was a fate reserved for the most reviled of Egyptian rulers. It was as if Akhenaten's successors wanted to obliterate all traces of his existence, to consign him to oblivion. The reasons for this thorough eradication remain a subject of debate among historians. Some argue that it was a backlash against Akhenaten's radical religious reforms, while others suggest it was a way for his successors to legitimize their own claims to power. Whatever the reasons, the attempt to erase Akhenaten's memory from history serves as a chilling reminder of the capricious nature of power and the fragility of legacy. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment any thoughts, questions, or suggestions for future videos you'd like to see here on Riddle GT, where history is riddled with mystery.